Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavitvaram Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. In our last class, we left off at shloka number 149, and in this shloka, Koshairananyamayadhyaihi Panchabhiratmana Samvruto Bhati Nijashakti Samutpannaihi Shaivalapatalairivambuvapistham. So in this shloka, what is mentioned is the tank of water. Born out of it is this moss which completely covers and envelops the entire tank, and the water is not seen. But when we remove the moss, we see that the fresh water is right underneath it. And in the same way, the atma is covered by these panchakoshas. And we remove the upadhi of the panchakosha and atma is revealed. So that same idea is now continued in the next two shlokas. Again, the same chandas over here, Arya chandas. It's a little difficult chandas, but this is a very beautiful chandas. Sadashiva Brahmendra has written a very beautiful Nididhyasan textbook, Atma Vidya Vilas. And in that 64 stanzas, Sadashiva Brahmendra employs this particular chandas for that whole composition. It's a difficult chandas, but it carries a lot of meaning and it allows the mind to sink into this pregnant words of Shastra. Shruti is what is shared over here. Tachaiva lapanaye samyak salilam pratiyate shuddham Trishna santapaharam sadya saukhya pradam param pumsaha panchanaamapi koshanam apavade vibhatyayam shuddhaha nityanandaikarasaha pratyagrupah parasvayam jyotihi. So, in these two shlokas, I chanted both of them because the idea goes together in both of them. And tat shaival apanaye, this moss apanaye, when it is removed over here, pumsaha, the person, sadya trushna santapaharam, the human being is able to quench the thirst. So I'm reading by the prose order over here. So the first word in the first line and then the last word in the second line, pumsaha, human being. So this moss, apanaye, when it is removed, pumsaha, the human being, sadya, immediately, Trishna santapaharam. Trishna, the very thirst which is there in that person, apaharam, saukyam pradam, paramam saukyam pradam. Imagine a person who is walking for a long time in the heat of India and they come across a tank of a temple. Before darshan, the person is so thirsty, even before the mind wants to do darshan, he runs towards the tank to quench the thirst. That is the example Shankaracharya ji is giving, because he used to walk up and down the breadth of India, and we are talking about almost 1,000 years ago. So these giant tanks of the temples in the mosque would be covered over there. So he is using that example that Trishna santapaharam param saukyam pradam. That person attains full satisfaction. Saukyam pradam, they regain inner composure, happiness and everything. Mind becomes placid. So now they are able to go for darshan. In the same way over here, what is talked about is Shuddham Salilam Samyak Pratiyate. This clean water appears, and in the same way, that clean water which quenches the thirst of a person when the moss is removed, it quenches the thirst, the person is able to gain inner poise and regain the very kingdom of happiness of the mind. In the same way, now the example is applied over here, and it is said, Panchanam api koshanam apavade. In the same way, the 5 sheets, we are going to see. What are the 5 sheets? We will see. The whole Panchakosha Vivek goes on for so many shlokas, up to at least 220 something like that. The Panchakosha Vivek is coming up. So Panchanam api koshanam apavade, when they are negated, when systematically they are negated, Nitya Ananda Ekarasaha Pratyagrupa Paraha Swayam Jyotihi Shuddhaha Atma Vibhati. This ayam is ayam atma vibhati, the atma shines. So what is said over here, when these panchakoshas are one after the other, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha, when these panchakoshas are mentally negated, what remains over there, over here, Nityananda Ekarasaha, the absolute bliss of one exclusive abidance in this joy, ekarasa, appearing as this one homogeneous mass of bliss, joy, pratyagrupaha. It is of the very inner nature. The inner nature of the atma itself is this joy, paraha swayam jyotihi, and it is absolute, paraha, absolute, swayam jyotihi, it is self-luminous, shuddhaha, it is ever immaculate, ever pure, it is not tainted by any sattva, rajas or tamas. There is no guna admixture which makes it solid. In fact, it is pure, absolute, pure, vibhati, it shines, and that is what this atma is. When these panchakoshas, when they are mentally negated, this self-luminous, blissful, of the existence, consciousness, bliss, homogeneous mass of bliss, not only that, this one and only one, Ekarasa, ever immaculate, ever pure, of the Gnapti Swarupa. It is Swayam Jyotihi, it is of the nature of luminosity. Luminosity, we think of the luminosity of the sun, it shines. But this is self-shining knowledge. The shine is of the luminosity of knowing, Gnapti Swarup. It is of the nature of knowing, that is Swayam Jyotihi, the self-effulgent, Ayam Vibhati, it shines. Anytime we are disturbed by our own physical form, our own pranic form, our own mental form, our own intellectual, and even the absence of proper understanding. This is the darkness of the Anandamaya Kosha as nothing but deep, deep ignorance. Anytime any of these upadis, they come to prick us, they come to bother us, we should understand that I am beyond these panchakosha. This is ascertained throughout the upcoming more than 50-60 shlokas are going to now assert our own higher nature apart from this panchakosha. It is a nature of the body to be healthy one day, sick the other day, big one day, lean the other day. It just goes on. It goes on. The Prakriti dances, and if we ourselves get caught up in the dance of the Prakriti and we lose our focus, then we cannot achieve, even in material world, we cannot achieve material success. What to talk of spiritual success? If we are too bothered by the physical form, we won't be able to focus on our job, our work and task which is at our hands. So it is very important that we understand what is presented over here. Continuing, shloka number 152. Atmanatma vivekaha कर्तव्यो बन्धमुक्तये विदुषा तेनैवानन्दि भवति स्वयं विज्ञाय सच्चिदानन्दम्. So, vidusha, a wise person. That's exactly what I just talked about, is what is repeated over here. Why is this? So now Shankaracharya ji himself comes over here and says, Vidusha, by a person who is wise, by a wise person, atma, anatma, vivekaha, bandha muktaye kartavyaha. We should understand what is atma, what is anatma, and that vivek, ha tayo vivekah kathametadutyatam. What is the vivek between atma and anatma? So once we know what is anatma vastu, then we are able to clearly understand what is atma and what is anatma. But over here, continuously we should have our hat of Vivek Shakti on all the time. If somebody says something to us, immediately our Vivek Shakti comes and says, you know what, they may criticize, the criticism is about the form. The criticism is about emotions. The criticism is about the buddhi. I know, I don't know. I understand, I don't understand. I'm capable of doing, I'm not capable of doing. I'm emotional, I'm not emotional. All of this, the whole criticism is based upon that. The social media people want thumbs up, thumbs down. Some one thumbs down, array, they did not like this. What to do? It is just anatma vastu. This is vidusha, a wise person having understood the ephemeral nature of everything that comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. That should be done bandha muktaye. Imagine somebody's words become a fence, a suffocating little fence for our own jiva. We put a bird in a cage. In India, people put these green parrots. A tiny little cage, not even a big one. That bird which is supposed to fly in the sky is now trapped in a tiny little cage. We put ourselves in the same cage by choice. When we are affected by somebody's criticism, when we are affected by somebody's lack of attention towards us, or I look at the Joneses next door and they have one extra car than us. They have a better model than us. This is endless. You go for a walk and you find somebody walking over there much more healthier and more fit. And we look at us, oh, I'm going for a walk, look at this. They are more fit than I am. And continuously, this Vivek has to come. This Vivek creates the blindfolds on our path of personal yatra, Jivan yatra. Even if one doesn't believe in God and wants to succeed, it is important we retain our focus. To keep a job, we need to be focused. To live in a relationship, we have to be focused. To live in the extended family where everywhere people are pushing buttons, we have to remain focused. That is the Vivek over here. then what to talk about knowing that absolute which I am? So, for a mumukshu, Shankaracharya ji says that mumukshu is vidusha. By this mumukshu, continuously bandha muktaye, for the liberation of the bondage of this prakriti, atma, anatma, viveka, kartavyaha. You know, tavya pratyaya is used that it should be done. One must do, one should engage in this vivek. Tena eva, and swam, satchidanandam, this one's own self, which is of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss, satchidanandam, vijnaya, made that person come to know, tena eva anandi bhavati. Only upon realizing that I am the source of my own existence, my own blissful existence, and I am not bound by any temporal limitation. I am infinitely filled with blissful existence. That knowledge alone, that's why it says vijnaya, when one comes to know that, tena eva, by that alone, anandi bhavati, the person will become happy. And again, Shankaracharya ji uses bhavati, becomes. But there is no becoming, we just have to know. Even now I am. It's just that I don't know that I am. So what to do out of, the verb is used, becomes, but there is actually in Atma Jnana, there is no becoming. We already are that. My nature is this. I have to come to know. So, tena eva anandi bhavati. By that alone, the person realizes that they are bliss incarnate. But we have to know that. No other gymnastics need to be done. People go to this place and pay this much money for this much diksha and what all things I hear. And Shankaracharya ji, our Shastra, Shruti, it is so clear that you alone are that Tattvam Asi. It is as simple as that. But to own up our own nature, it is a daily practice I engage in with my own equipment of knowing, which is mana and buddhi, which is also one of the koshas. I have to give up even this mind and buddhi at the end. It is like the person utilizes the pole vaulter, utilizes the pole to get across the high jump and discards the pole. The pole is used as a support. When a person is working with metal and melts the metal to create various vessels or forms out of the molted metal, the bamboo stick that he uses to pull it out of the bhatti, the very fire pit, it removes it, but in the process, it's the bamboo stick. So bamboo stick has served the purpose of removing it, but it burns along with it. It's a tool, but the tool itself merges into the task. That is what is to be done over here. That is why Vijnaya, we have to come to know. What is the equipment of knowing over here? Mana and Buddhi. And in these Pancha Koshas, we will see mind is also born out of the Pancha Mahabhutas. Buddhi is born out of Pancha Mahabhutas, but it is only these two which will reveal this atma to this jiva, free the jiva from the cage of limitations, and the jivatva will drop, and what will be dawn from the jivatva is the understanding I was never bound to begin with. My bondage is a notion. Anadi avidya created notion by the same mana and buddhi. And that same mana and buddhi which has created this notional distance between me and Paramatma, the same equipment will have to get rid of that notional understanding that I am this poor jiva, I am this poor trapped person, and I need to evolve. So that is the atma, anatma, vivek. I repeat these, and I will repeat it again and again. Shankaracharya ji will also repeat it. The more we hear, the more we are able to practice. That includes the speaker, all of us. Continuing the next shloka. Munjadishikamiva drusyavargat pratyangamatmanamasangamakkriyam vivicya tatra pravilapya sarvam tadatmana tishtati yassa muktaha. So, munjad ishikamiva. See, Shankaracharya ji uses whatever examples were available in those days. This day and age, who knows what munja grass is? Even the priests don't know where it comes from because they've only seen the dried ones. They've never seen the fresh one. So these munja grass, it grows along the banks of the river. The banks of Narmada, when I go over there, I always see that and remember Shankaracharya ji. He got his Diksha in Narmada river, and he must have seen all of these and composing all of this. When you remove one whole stalk of grass of Munja, it has all these leaves coming out from it. And in the stalk, in the center, when you remove, one leaf will come out, another leaf will come out, third leaf will come out, fourth will come out, fifth will come out, sixth will come out. In the center will be just one closed up stalk. You cannot remove it anymore. But in that same closed up stalk are the future munja grasses of tomorrow. It looks like there is nothing in it, but from that nothing comes out more grass. And it is this grass which is used in Vedic rituals. Shankaracharya ji also, in hailing from Kerala, he uses also Kadali Stambhavat, like a banana plant. You remove the first layer, you remove the second layer, the third layer, and you keep on removing until there is a stalk and there is nothing to be removed from there on. This is the same example he gives. Either it is the example of banana stalk will come. So right now it's time for Munja grass. So just like the the core of the Munja grass remains after all the other leaves are removed, and what is removed is Drushya Varga. It is all seen. And in that core, it's not seen. So all of these Munjad, Ishikad, Munjat, Ishikam, Iva, just like in the Munja grass, Ishikam, the stalk, Iva like Drushyavargat, from the grasp of what is seen, meaning what is seen is the not self, not this, not this, not this. So the Pancha Kosha, not the body, not the mind, etc. He's getting to that. So over here, Pratyanjam, the subject over here, and what is the subject? Atmanam. That Atmanam which is not seen. And what is that Atmanam? Asangam. It is that Atma unattached to anything. Akriyam. It doesn't do any kriya. There is no action. And that Vivichya Tatra Sarvam Pravilapya. Vivichya over here, separating that Atma from everything else, just like what is in the very center of the Munja grass when all of the Drushya Varga, the seen leaves are removed, and then the center stalk, even that is removed, there is nothing remaining. In the same way, over here, in that unmanifest exists this Atma, which is Akriya, which is Asanga, and it has to be Vivichya. It has to be separated. Tatra Pravilapya Sarvam. In the same way, just like we released each one of the Munja blades, in the same way, over here, Yaha Tad Atmana, Yaha, that person who has done this Atma Anatma Vivek, Yaha Tad Atmana, identifying with that absolute, the jiva, or over here vidusha from the last shloka, the wise one, the mumukshu, the student, that student identifying with the higher, saha muktaha tishtati. Such a person is mukta, just like in this Munja grass, when all blades of the Munja grass are removed and in the center stalk nothing remains, when even the center one is removed, in the same way, by a wise person, when all of the koshas are removed, one Drushya Vargat, whatever is seen, whatever is identified, when that is released, when that is dissolved, when that is Vimunchya over here separated, what remains is I am. And that is known as Tad Eva Atman. I am. I am that. And I am can never be negated. I can negate everything else, but I can never negate my own presence. Try to experience your own absence. Raman Maharshi ji used to say that. You sit over here and you try to experience your own absence. Never can we experience our absence. That with which I can negate everything else, but itself, that is atma. It is with that consciousness I negate everything, but that consciousness can never ever negate itself. That is what is referred to over here. Tat atmana tishtati saha eva muktaha. That person alone is liberated when they have negated everything, but they know they cannot negate themselves as the very awareness. And in this awareness alone they remain, because that is my nature. I can never ever renounce my nature. This is what is very beautifully talked about over here. Now this Panchakosha starts the Panchakosha Vivek. Section 40, Gurudev labels this section 40, and in this the part A is Annamaya Kosha, the food sheet, the upcoming about 11 shlokas, 154 to 164. Dehoyam annabhavanon koshah चान्नेन जीवति विनश्यति तद्विहीनः त्वक्चर्म मांसरुधिरास्ति पुरीशराशिः नायं स्वयं भवितुम् अर्हति नित्यशुद्धः. So over here very beautifully what is talked about, this particular meter, very beautiful meter, it's called Vasanta Tilaka. Vasanta Tilaka is the name of this chandas. Dehaha ayam annabhavano. Annabhavano, product of food. Anna, food. Bhavana, product of. So that which is the product of food, what is it? Ayam dehaha. This body is a product of food. We eat food, and whatever food we eat, that food itself becomes the physical body. So that is what is mentioned over here. Anna bhavano ayam dehaha. Annamayaha koshaha cha annena jivati. And this Annamaya Kosha, this Kosha meaning sheath, covering. That covering, just like we have a rice, and the rice is covered by a husk on it, and that husk has to be removed, and the rice grain is visible on the inside. So in the same way, over here, this Annamaya Kosha, this husk-like body, the shell over here, it is said over here, Ayam Annamaya Koshaha cha annena jivati. It requires food for its sustenance. This Annamaya Kosha requires food for its sustenance. And tadvihinaha, and when it is deprived of food, vinashyati, it dies. Very simple. There is no much thought to it. The body is born out of modification of food. It requires food to live, and when it is deprived of food, it dies. That is the first two lines. Tvat charma mamsa rudira asti purisha rashihi. This body is made up of external skin, internal skin, mamsa, flesh, rudira, blood, asti, bones, purisha rashihi, etc. Marrow and all of those things are not talked about, but all the liquids, and Gurudev calls it a package of filth, nicely wrapped up in this skin. Gurudev says that Bhagavan is the best gift giver because he knows how to wrap. And the way he has wrapped the bodies is enough to create kamana in the other person. It's like, can we ever create a gift wrap something like this? We should watch Gurudev's videos on this Vivekachudamani. He just dramatizes and makes it so funny, but that is what he means. The third line, God is a gift wrapper. And this ayam swayam nitya shuddha na bhavitum arhati. And this atma, ayam atma, nitya shuddha, which is eternally divine and pure, swayam na bhavitum arhati. It cannot be all this. It cannot be this package of filth which is born out of food, sustained by food, and when you stop giving it food, it decays. And maggots will come into it and it will disappear. He said the absolute, which is ever divine, ever pure, cannot be this filth. This is the Annamaya Kosha, the first shloka of Annamaya Kosha. And in this next shloka, Shankaracharya ji presents 5 features of Annamaya Kosha. And that is, we'll see the next shloka. It says, Purvam janerati mruterapi nayamasti jata kshana kshana gune niyata svabhavaha naiko jadascha ghatavat paridrushyamanah Swatma katham bhavati bhava vikara vetta. Again, he very beautifully says, though, Janehe purvam, without, before it was born, and then adhimruterapi, and after it passes on. Before birth, it did not exist, and after death, it will not exist. Meaning, the body has temporal existence. When we go to a graveyard and these graves are there are 2 dates. The birth date and the death date of the body which is lying in state over there. Before the birth date, the body did not exist. And after the death date, the body is also non-existent. But between these two dates, the body existed. Even in, we go to over here, Texas state capital, and various governors who have ruled over this state, all of their pictures are there, and then two dates are underneath each picture. When they were born, when they died. And of those years, how many years they were governor of the state, that is also there. And there are some pictures where only one date is there, meaning they are still alive. The other date has to be filled. That's all. This is over here, na ayam asti. This atma, I mean this body did not exist. So in the first line, what Shankaracharya ji has presented as one of the features of the body, the first feature of the body is mithyatva swarupa. It is of the nature of illusion. It has temporary existence. It has no real existence. It has no absolute existence. It has an appearance, just like a magician from his hat pulls out a rabbit. The rabbit did not exist before the show. The rabbit doesn't exist after the show. In the show, there is a temporary existence of this rabbit. That is called mithyatva bhavaha. This is the first feature of the Annamaya Kosha. Now, second feature. What is the second feature? Jata kshanaha kshana gunaha. What is said over here? That Jata kshanaha, the moment, Jata, born, Kshana, moment. The moment it is born, and then Kshana gunaha. The moment the jiva is born, moment the body is born, the gunas will keep on changing the body. Actually, when the child is born, the doctor will say 5 pounds, 6 pounds, 7 pounds, whatever it is. And the next time when we go, the doctor says, congratulations, the 1 month visit, the baby is growing well because the baby is now 10 pounds, 11 pounds. So the weight has increased, the doctor is happy and the parents are also happy. Now imagine, even after 3 months, the baby is still 5 pounds the day it was born. It will be worrisome for the doctor and for the parents. So what's happening? 3 months have gone by and the child has not put on any weight. What if the child, instead of gaining weight, it loses weight? Not a good sign. So jata kshana, kshana gunaha. The gunas act upon the body immediately. We grow. Asti, jayate, vardate, viprinamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. Shad vikaras are going on. And this Shankaracharya ji calls over here sagunaha. The second feature of the Annamaya Kosha is it is gunena baddhaha. It is gunas. So first was mithyatva. Second one over here is gunena baddhaha. It is bound by the gunas. It is saguna. Aniyata swabhavaha. Unpredictable. Aniyata swabhavaha. One moment it is fine, second moment we don't know what is going to happen. Knock on wood, the body remains healthy. Blood work, we just happily go, oh, I have blood work, and we go give blood, and the doctor calls and says, we want to do another blood work. Something is concerning. You think that person will be in proper state of mind then? Oh my God, what's happening? They will go, and then immediately they will keep on calling the doctor. Is my result here? Is my result there? And the doctor says, I want you to come in my office. That's not a good sign. If everything's okay, he will tell on the phone, it's good. But you come in the office, we have to discuss something. Aniyata swabhava. The body continuously changes, and this aniyata swabhavaha, Shankaracharya ji, the third feature of the body is asthira. It is not permanent. It keeps on changing. The fourth feature over here, na ekaha. It is not one. Anekaha. There are so many. Just in one family, a family of 4. And let's say all 4 of them, they go to see an Ayurvedic doctor in Kerala. They want to get some spa treatment, this, that, whatever it is. And that Ayurvedic doctor takes the pulse. And all 4 people, same family, children born out of the same parents, completely different prakriti. Different oils will be used for massage. Different type of oil concoction will be there for Shirodhara, etc., etc. One will be massage with hot oil. The other one has to be cooled. We don't know. That is anekaha, different types. But atma, it is only one. So this is the fourth feature of the sthula sharira, and the fourth feature is anekaha. And then ghatavat paridrushyamanaha jadascha. Ghatavat, like a pot. Ghatavat drushyamanaha, it is seen. Just like this phone, clearly I can see the phone. Drushyavat, over here, Drushyavat, Agatavat, Drushyamanaha, Jadavat. It is Jada. I take this phone, I put it over here. The phone will remain over here. It doesn't have its own mind or limbs where it will get up and start moving. Jada. The body, the physical body is Jada. The Chetana of the Atma is required to enliven this body. By nature, the body is Jada. So, the fourth feature is Jada. Bhava Vikara Vetta, come to know as These are the 5 different types of features, bhava vikar, the changes of this body. And then he puts a rhetorical question, Swamatma katham bhavati? Can this atma be this bhava vikar body? No. I am observing the change of my own body from childhood up to now. Each one of us experiences our own change. That change is observed from a changeless point of reference. Imagine if the reference keeps on changing. 12 inches makes 1 feet. Every country has its own set of measurement of what 1 foot is. Can we have any consensus as to what will be the height of an average floor in a home? Some 10 foot, 12 foot floor. Now everybody has a different measuring yardstick. It will be very different. We cannot have anything that is properly available in this world. So atma is that changeless reference from where all changes are observed. It becomes a standard for the measurement of change. And from the standpoint of changeless atma, I can say sharira is mithya, sharira is saguna, sharira is asthira, sharira is aneka, and sharira is jada. So these 5 features Shankaracharya ji very beautifully enumerates over here for us to do better Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivek. We will continue tomorrow this beautiful idea over here. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.